In the last video, I explained how to grow your portfolio as a beginner from $1,000 to $5,000. If you didn't watch it, watch it. And in this video, I'm going to explain what you do afterwards, how to grow it from 10,000 to 50,000 and then to 100,000 and what to do after your 100,000 invested. Now, my name is Luca. I own trading businesses. I'm not a trader, or I was not until recently. I still don't consider myself a trader. The majority of money I earn is through businesses, and then I invested in the stocks and different kinds of investments. And I'll just talk from my experience. So I'm not making this up. This is what I'm doing, and this is how I grow my portfolio. And I might be wrong, but it works for me. And I'm going to be transparent on this channel on how it's going. So it's about business on one side and stocks and investments on the other side, right? So first of all, what I want you to understand is that investments, and especially the stocks that you invest in, you should treat them like a game. So the score is the amount of money that you earn, and depending on the amount of money that you have and then you spend, you should treat money and investments differently and invest differently. So if you're a beginner and you're getting to $10,000, so you have nothing and you're working somewhere else, which I always suggest, never stop working, always have your income covering your basic expenses and some, and that and some should be invested elsewhere to create some freedom for yourself and your family. And the first level is getting to 10,000, which I covered in my previous video. So first rule is always use the money that you don't need and are ready to lose, and earn money elsewhere. Once you have that 10,000 and you're gonna get there by investing, and that's my rule, 25% in long-term stable stocks. And I'm not going to talk about bonds and real estate and anything else. This is just like about stocks and those strategies in crypto. Invest 25% in long-term stable stocks. Those are maybe Nvidia, Apple, and so on. Those are the top 8 or 10 S&P 500 stocks that basically drive the whole S&P 500's growth. And 60% should go in mid-term stocks that you will sell in the next 3 to 12 months. Those are the stocks of the future, the ones that are growing, that are usually in AI, data, energy, and so on. And 50% should be invested in short-term stocks. So those are the plays that you're going to hold for 1 to 3 months, usually driven by momentum, by some kind of insider trading, IPOs, and so on. The main rule is you have to understand what you're doing. Everything that I'm talking about right now are just words. So if you're just at the beginner level, only use one strategy at a time. So first learn how to invest in long-term stable stocks, how the stocks work, when the earning dates, what is their industry, how they're earning money, what is the P&L, how to read the financials, how to understand what is the future, what they're doing, why it's important, and so on. Once you do that, then invest in mid-term stocks. Understand how those work, why they're the future, what are the strategies there, because they're different than the long-term stocks. And then lastly, 15% in short-term plays where you will hold 1 to 3 months and exit. Always understand what you're doing, focus on one strategy, and give yourself time. You will not earn money in a day. Usually when you earn money in a day, you will lose it as quickly. And try to do what's obvious. If Nvidia drops 10% in a day, it's probably gonna get higher very quickly and recover very quickly, unless there is some crazy black swan event happening in the world, like World War III or something like that. So do not guess, all right? Follow the strategy, do not guess when you're at, or ever, always follow the strategy and never guess. And that's the beginner level. Now, that's covered in the previous video. Now, if you are at a starter level, which is kind of like you already know something, you already got 10,000, you already know how this works. First thing I would suggest is still continue earning money from your primary income, which is your job, or if you're an entrepreneur, from the dividends or whatever you have, and then do the same thing and continue doing the same thing as you did in the beginner level. The difference is you will now keep some cash on the side, 25% of cash, where you'll wait for huge drops, like for example Trump announcing tariffs or something, some stock drops without a reason. Those are very obvious and you are probably not guessing there, and that's why you should have cash in hand. Invest 25% in S&P 500. That means something that is going to be there even if it drops, and in the next few years it's definitely going to grow. And the rest diversify in the same way which we explained in the previous level, in the beginner level. So the rest, 40%, should be 25% long-term, 60% in stocks of the future, and 15% in kind of short-term plays. The main rule of investing: do not lose money. If you lose money, it's going to be more difficult to get back to ground zero and get back in the play, in the game. You're going to lose motivation, and you'll feel emotionally insecure, stressed out. You don't want to do that. Rather earn 10% per year, understand and learn on the way, and then do the next thing where you can risk a little bit more. That's your 10,000 to 50,000 level. Continue doing this. So you have, let's say you have 10,000 and you earn $1,000 that you can now invest. 250 should go in cash and wait for the next big opportunity. 250 should go into S&P 500, and then the rest should go into stock strategies. Then the next level, now you have 50,000, and the rules are pretty simple. You just are more stable here. You have some money at S&P 500 and in long-term plays, so you're not gonna see sudden drops, and even if you see them, they're gonna recover quicker. It's more difficult to lose money there, but the rules are basically the same. You just continue earning money elsewhere and do not guess. Try to not to guess, and do not lose money. Every time you have additional money to invest, diversify it, keep some cash, 10% in cash, and then diversify everything into long-term strategies, 70% in the strategies that are more long-term, like 25% of those 70% in long-term, 60% in mid-term, 50% in short. That works. That's something that is going to help you continue growing. And then once you're okay with how much you hold in S&P 500 in the long-term stocks, you can also put those together in this 25%. Start learning about options. Now, options are pretty complex compared to just stocks. With stocks, you can just buy and forget, but options give you a couple of hedging options. It allows you to be more creative and earn money with minimum risk. And there's so many things that you can do in options, but learn before you play. First, figure out one strategy is, for example, buy or sell calls or puts, and then continue combining those with buying stocks and combining with buying, selling calls on your purchase stocks and that you own, selling puts on the stocks that you own to buy the discount, and so on. But do not do everything. You can just focus on, for example, selling puts, nothing else, and you only use 10% of your money there. And probably in this intermediate level, it's not a good idea to sell puts because you will need more money. So probably the best strategy would be to buy a stock and then also to buy some calls, just to learn what's going to happen if the stock goes up, if it grows. You're probably going to get tons of ideas as you learn how to trade options. Same happened with me. Now I'm pretty much trading everything that I can imagine, and it's going very well. And of course, lastly, invest 10% in crypto. I would not recommend anything else but Bitcoin at this point. It doesn't make sense, and Bitcoin is basically a good saving mechanism, and you're just going to catch that upside if you just consistently save in crypto, in Bitcoin. You should not think about what's your entry point in Bitcoin usually. If you are patient, if you want to risk, you could, but it's very difficult to say where Bitcoin will go. Like with anything else, it's probably going to, in 10 years, be higher priced than what it is today. So the best thing you can do is buy and forget about it. Now that you have $50,000 to $100,000, you're now learning more, investing more. You're probably reading a lot about stocks, about companies, understand how to buy and sell options and different strategies and combine them with purchasing stocks. Now you're ready to go and invest further. Let's say you now have $100,000. Again, the rules are very similar. Continue earning money elsewhere. You're still not financially free, but you could be with $100,000 if you know what you're doing with options. Continue earning money elsewhere, reinvest it, and the proportions are very similar. Still keep 10% in cash, and then diversify 70% this way. 30% in long-term strategies like S&P 500 and the stable stocks, 20% in mid-term stocks that you believe will grow, 20% in short-term plays, 10% in options, and 10% in crypto. Just repeat what works. On the way of your investing journey, you'll probably find your own ratio which works for you. This is just something similar what I'm doing and what I like. Lastly, what are the mistakes you should avoid. Some of these are not stated here. Like some people do not have any stability. They go all in on certain stocks. They don't learn. That's what happened to me when I was in the second year of college. I was trading penny stocks, penny sheets. I thought I was trading penny stocks and pink sheets. I thought that's a fast way to earn money, but it's better and faster way to lose it. And my mistakes were not learning how to use the platform, how the market works, that you can buy before market, that you need to pay additionally to buy small cap stocks and things like that. This is more of the tech you're using. You got to learn the tech. This is not stated here, but you got to learn the tech. You got to learn what you're doing, not be in a hurry. It takes time, but it gets faster and you can earn faster the more you know and the more money you have. So biggest things you should not do is have everything in cash. That's the easiest thing you can do, and that's a good way to always stay poor unless you exited for $1 billion and you never have to worry about money again. But inflation will eat your money and nothing happens if you do nothing. Money is there to be used to generate more money, to create energy, or to buy energy basically, to create more and to do more. So don't hold just cash. Like you should have some cash and reserves, but that's another video. If you're investing, do not wait for some magic to happen, because nobody can predict the markets. Another problem, another mistake to avoid is also holding everything in options and only trading options in crypto, especially risky crypto. If you trade risky crypto and if you just trade options, especially with short-term options strategies, you're gonna lose money sooner or later, especially if you don't know what you're doing and you didn't go into depth of what needs to be done, what happens, why it happens, and stuff like that. With certain strategies, you're going to lose money for sure. You can learn some, you can earn some, and if you're lucky, and that's fine. But if you continue trading, you will lose, and then you will be stressed out. You lose motivation. You will need to start again. It's more difficult to earn what you lose than to earn on top of your earnings. Earnings accumulate, and the more you earn, the more you earn. But if you lose, you'll need to start all over again, and it takes double the effort to earn something that you just lost. And of course, never trade without protection. First of all, you should always earn your income elsewhere. Trade only money you can lose, sorry. And yeah, always trade long term. Never focus on daily or weekly trades. Usually those are very unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen. Always focus on longer term. At least if you have some option strategies, do it at like 3-4 weeks time period, and get used to hold stocks to see what happens. You will learn with time. Nothing happens immediately, and if you're patient, if you see this as something for long term, you'll probably agree and will not mind waiting, because you should do things while you wait. That's how patience is defined. Earn money elsewhere, invest, and let the plays play out. That's all for this video. In the next one, I'll talk about options, about what is call option, what is put option, all the basics, and this is going to be a part of a mini course on investing. And my name is Luca. I own trading companies. You can check a few in the description. If you like this video, let me know what you think.